All right, so Za'Darius Smith at the BET Awards with his girlfriend, who is a rapper from Detroit. The topic of the Lions came up, and here's what he had to say about the Lions. Quote, "We both know where I want to be. Hopefully, I can get back to Detroit because the coaching staff and everybody in the front office are great. When I'm there, I feel like a leader and like I can influence the young guys and do great things. Hopefully, I can get back to where I want to be in Detroit." That is courtesy of USA Today. This has been hinted at. This has been implied. This sounds to me almost like a recruiting pitch by Za'Darius Smith to the Lions of how much he wants to be here. Scott, what do you make of this from Za'Darius Smith?
Well, I think it's interesting because you see the I don't know if you saw the odds came out from Vegas, the Vegas odds as to what the next team will be to sign him. Although they say it's a 50% chance that Za'Darius Smith and also that Von Miller could return to their 2024 clubs. Okay. So the Lions are not among this list because I guess it's
if they don't.
Shot.
Okay,
yeah. So when I first looked at this, I didn't see the Lions on there. But there has to be a reason why the Lions aren't on Za'Darius Smith's list there. But to hear him say it publicly, anytime you hear somebody say it publicly, it puts more pressure on the organization to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to get done. Look, the Lions don't have any workouts until training camp starts. That's how things set up because of the Hall of Fame game, that they don't have to do the mini camps and all that. So they have still some time to get things done. I'm sure he's in shape, getting in as great a shape as he can be in. And he will not be at any kind of disadvantage if he joins the team right in time for training camp because everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's really had much of an advantage. They had these OTAs, and it seems like half the team practiced at the OTAs
right,
because of the laundry list of injuries. I think that it'd be awesome if they can get this deal done. I think they've got the cap space to do it. I still think they can get a deal done with him and give Alex Anzalone a little bump in pay as well that he's deserved of getting. And I think these are the obvious moves that they have to make because it's a pipe dream to think that they're going to go for Trey Hendrickson. Well, that's just not going to happen. So if you understand that that's not going to happen, then you have to do something with the cap space that they have for guys that are going to be here for the rest of the year.
Well, here's what I want to know from the people. Is this a no-brainer or is it not enough? Za'Darius Smith wants to be here. The Lions have apparently, if he wants to be here and they cut him because he costs too much money, it means that the Lions are basically going to get to set the price to bring the player back. I don't know if you can think of a better business move from that perspective. We want you here, but we want you back at our price. It hasn't happened yet for whatever reason. Maybe they're working on something else, but that's a question. Is it enough? Is adding Za'Darius Smith opposite Aiden Hutchinson enough? Or would you prefer they make an aggressive trade for a player? Or would you prefer that they wait for the Jair Alexander of defensive ends to get released? Or would you prefer one of the other free agents, Matthew Judon or Von Miller? Or is it Trey Hendrickson or bust? Like, I think that there's a number of directions this could go. But is this enough? Is Za'Darius Smith, if he wants to be here and he seems to be willing to take Detroit's price, is this enough? Or do fans want more?
I think we've seen in the past the Lions have always saved a little cap space in case they get to the trade deadline, they want to make a move. But it seems like right now they've got a lot of cap space. And that tells me that maybe they were hoping to land somebody earlier in free agency that they weren't able to get, or that they've saved room here in case they want to make a trade. But those players, those impact players, they're just not there in the trade market unless you're willing to mortgage a lot to get Trey Hendrickson, which I don't think that they are willing to do that. So now they seem to have a little bit of a surplus of cash here, right? They got the Kirby Joseph deal done. They know they're going to have to get other deals done after the season for players down the road. Hutchinson's deal, when is that going to happen? Don't know. But is it really going to affect this year's cap? Probably not too much. So I think they just kind of let things blow over. And as they get into training camp, then they can reassess and say, okay, here's literally how much money we have left to spend. We get Za'Darius Smith on a 1-year contract, and we'll give it to him, whatever that amount is. We'll bump up Anzalone, and we still have to save some money because I think they have over $20 million in cap space still.
Yeah, I mean, when the dust settles, we'll see how much that they do have. But, Kang, do you think bringing back Za'Darius Smith is enough?
Do I think it's enough?
Yeah.
I think this team is talented enough to win the Super Bowl. So, yes, adding a Za'Darius Smith would help that. I know a lot of people feel like they need more. I don't necessarily fall in that camp. Things have to fall into place, of course. You got to stay healthy, all that stuff. But, yeah, I think he can only help your cause. I think at this point in Za'Darius Smith's career, unfortunately, he's probably more of a kind of a one-trick pony, get to the quarterback, And what the Lions value a lot is versatility. A guy who can play the run and rush the passer. That doesn't mean they won't bring him back. Obviously, they brought him last year, but last year was kind of a desperate situation where guys, they were looking for anybody at that point. And he can still play the run a little bit, but just not nearly probably as enough as they'd like him to. With that being said, you got to get somebody opposite Aiden to that can get to the quarterback, and that's what he does.
Yeah, look, if you look at what he did last year, and he's at a point in his career where I don't expect him as a player to get better. But I think playing opposite Aiden Hutchinson, even as a one-trick pony, could be really, really good. He could be really, really good. And by that, I guess I just mean I think he can make a real impact for this team. He had 4 sacks in half a season last year. A couple of them where guys got pushed into his lap. Right? It was somebody else that really did the heavy lifting, and he just brought him to the ground. But bottom line here is there something about a player that wants to be here?
Yeah.
And actually emphasizes that he wants to be a leader, that he wants to help the young guys, that he understands that he's going to impact the game when he's not on the field because he's that veteran that can help along the Josh Paschals of the words, or the Hassanins of the world, or any other young edge rusher that they're trying to squeeze whatever they can out of him. So I don't know. And the other part about this is I've kind of changed a little bit from a standpoint of, okay, you might want more, and I'd pay more for Von Miller, or I'd try to make it work with Trey Hendrickson. They just had something pop out of the blue that is a screaming need, right? In Ragnar.
At center.
And if it's not working with who they have in house, it's something they may have to address at the trade deadline, and it may not be cheap.
That's true. I think it's also something that they've known for a while, and I think that there are lots of reports that say that the Lions have known for a bit that this was a possibility that Frank was going to retire. Mm-hmm. So, and I think they've been preparing for this with all the offensive linemen that they've drafted the last couple of years anyway. So, but that process just got sped up because now it's official. Frank's out. He's retired, or he's retiring. So now if you're going to take a look at Tate Ratledge at center, okay, it's learning curve is awfully quick right now. This is baptism by fire for this team when it comes to that offensive line. The interior of the offensive line that's changed over in a heartbeat.
Sure has. 248-539-9797. Lions fans, do you think it would be enough? Here's another quote from Za'Darius Smith from the same story, USA Today, from the BET Awards last night. I'm going into year 11. As a veteran, a championship is the only thing that I'm missing. I did the sacks, All-Pro, Pro Bowl, so it's really just me getting a ring now and winning a championship. Wow. We're sort of even glossing over maybe something that we're getting accustomed to, and that's just players want to be here.
Well, the good thing is he's been here, knows what it's like, and wants to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he fits in with the culture. He's a good locker room guy. The guys like him. Coaching staff seem to like him. And so he knows what is expected of him. It's not a new guy to know how it is, where like, hey, this is a lot more intense than I expected, whatever. No, he knows how it is, and he still wants to come back. And the best part is, if he comes back, this is going to be on a Lions, incentive-laden type deal, I think, and it's going to be in the Lions' favor.
Yep. All right, Lions fans, would that be enough? 248-539-9797. Za'Darius Smith outspoken again that he wants to be back in Detroit. Just a reminder, you can listen to the show with the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today, AUDACY. There's going to come a time this summer you're on vacation and the Lions are going to do something or the Tigers are going to do something, trade deadline. You're like, oh, my God, that's huge. I got a long drive ahead of me today going from Flagstaff to the Grand Canyon. How am I going to hear what's being said in Detroit?
How do you do that, Doug?
Actually, Flagstaff of the Grand Canyon isn't that far. But anyway, you tune in with the Odyssey app. So get it today, AUDACY. Then you can stream this show and any of the shows here at 97.1 The Ticket. Also streaming through our website, 971theticket.com, where Champ and Chump are posted. You can also stream with video, twitch.tv and youtube.com.
What about Mesa to Yuma?
Mesa to Yuma, you could listen then too. I think you might need cell service though. So make sure, hopefully you have a good, strong signal.
Well, to get an app,
248-539-9797. It's Karsch and Anderson, 97.1 The Ticket.